Yeah, yeah.
Lazy.
When we look on 2022 on who's had the most terrible year in boxing, there's no, I don't think anyone has had such a bad year than Mr. Eddie Hearn. Boy, oh boy, where do we begin with him? Like, let's be real. Obviously Eddie Hearn has done a lot for boxing, especially for British boxing, and you can't take that away from him. But ever since he's gone to the zone, I mean, he doesn't look like a guy who can handle pressure. That's just me being honest. Look, don't get me wrong. He's had a great year with fight of the year with Lee Wood and Michael Conlan. Like by far fight of the year for me. Obviously you had the Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, but yeah, I mean it has been really it's been a terrible year for Eddie Hearn. I just don't know. Do I work from the top of my head? Do I go back to? All right, let's go back to. Let's go to where fights he couldn't get done. All right, so fights he couldn't get done. The Kell Brook and Amir Khan. He lost that fight to Sky Sports Boxer. All right, it's a fight that should have happened. Oh, God knows how many years. And obviously, don't get it twisted. We had Amir Khan who didn't really want the fight and all that kind of stuff there. So yeah, so we give him that one. But then you had the Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, which is another fight that Sky Sports Boxer won. Is a fight that Eddie Hearn could not get done. All right. Now, obviously, those are fights that he couldn't get done. It is what it is. Yeah, what will be will be. But then we go and now we look on Canelo Alvarez. Now, Eddie Hearn's basket. Eddie Hearn is like all these attention to me from what I look on it from an outsider is Canelo, Conor Ben, Anthony Joshua. I don't think there's any real big stars coming up after them. Right, but anyway, we're gonna go with Canelo. So as you can see, he was back in Canelo to beat Bivol. Other than I feel like hardcore boxing fans knew that Bivol had beaten a Canelo. It's just that would he get the decision in Las Vegas? He did by a round, which clearly I'm not gonna lie. Bivol outboxed Canelo. How he only won that by a round says it all. But anyway, so Canelo lost to Bivol. Then later down the line, we had the rematch with Alexander Usyk. Now, in all fairness, even though Anthony Joshua put on a great show, Anthony Joshua then signed a long-term deal with his own. He had his last, yeah, he had his last pay per view, he had his last fight on Sky Sports Box Office, where obviously once again Joshua loses to Usyk. Like I said, Joshua put on a big show, but due to the mental breakdown, the pressure and all that kind of stuff there, yeah, once again, it's not a good look on Eddie Hearn. It's another L for Eddie Hearn. Now, obviously, Joshua, wish we could talk in another video, but Joshua, I do believe will come back. It's just a rebuilding process for Joshua. So, yeah. Then we go to. Whew, no, before we get there, we go to fighters that are leaving Eddie Hearn. Okay? And another thing you got to realize is this: a lot of fighters are leaving Eddie Hearn. Yeah, the Natasha Jonas, and this one's in. This is why it just does not look good for Eddie Hearn. Tasha Jonas was with. Was he? I can't remember. Was Tasha Jonas with? Yeah, he would. Yeah, Tasha Jonas was with Matchroom. 2021. Tasha Jonas has now become a three-time world champion, as in won the belt and unified twice. Yeah, boom. Then you had the whole Eddie Hearn talking about Chris Smith. That we're gonna take we're gonna go to Bournemouth with Bill and Smith. La di la di la da. Yeah, like it's Bournemouth do need a fight night out there. He failed to deliver. Sorry. Once again, boxer. Sky Sports took it in, went and put the show on against Billy Smith against Isaac Chamberlain, now which was potentially domestically one of the fights of the year. Domestically, I'm referring to now, and what a great turnout that Billy Smith has in Bournemouth. Like even the other night, just before Christmas, where he knocked out, I can't remember my guy's name, but a beautiful knockout. Um, then what else? Then we got the whole Lawrence Okoli saga. Now, like I said, I'm not a guy who's in the inside, so I do not know what's the deal. Yeah, but from recent interviews, it looks like Okoli has had the better end of it, and yeah, it's just a lot of things. Like when you look at Eddie Hearn and the Lawrence Okoli saga. Now, Lawrence Okoli's contract was supposedly up from his. This is from Okoli's side. All right, the contract's up. Uh, Trying to negotiate a new deal. Obviously, nothing really was coming back for Okoli, so Okoli he went shopping elsewhere. So he came back with one of the deals from Sky Sports about him being the face of being the face of boxing. Um, yeah, came back. Well, obviously, whatever they were offering was what they were offering. Eddie Hearn's like, well, Eddie Hearn, don't know, we can't say Eddie Hearn, but obviously Matchroom were like, nope, you still, we can't, no, a Cody said that, look, you don't have to match it, but get close to it, and I'll stay with you guys. Matchroom are like, nah, we can't do this, we can't do that. So we are gonna, yeah, we can't match it up, and also you've got one fight left on your deal. And yeah, as we all know, the whole back and forth all to do with that fight that Okoli had in lockdown. Yeah, whatever the deal was, whatever it was, it was. Uh, on Eddie Hearn's perspective, it doesn't look good because once again, Eddie Hearn talking about um, pursuing what Okoli's saying, pursuing legal action. You know, we have this one fight, blah blah blah. Anyway, it's all whatever. It's all done. It's done now. But it just does not look good for Eddie Hearn. Then also Eddie Hearn. Now this one I can agree with when it comes to Eddie Hearn is the whole Jake Paul saga. Now, um, taking legal action against Jake Paul, which is understandable because you are tarnishing the Matchroom brand. But when I'm saying that, the whole Glenn Fellman scorecards, which was ridiculous from Glenn Fellman. Like, I don't know what fight he was watching. And shout out to Rob Tebbett and them guys on ID Boxing, trying to pull him up, get him to answer questions, which he didn't, but, put him on the hot seat. Yeah, so obviously Eddie Hearn said, no, we can't put up with this. So, look, either you apologise or we're taking legal action. Which, in all fairness, I can't I can't disagree with Eddie Hearn on that on that perspective. I can't disagree with him. But the problem is with Eddie Hearn, the guy who said he was not gonna, you don't want to get into any legal battles with fighters. The the Eddie Hearn who said he doesn't want to be like a Bob Arum and a Frank Warren. I don't want to be a bitter old man who stays in boxing for so long. But you know that whole thing where they say pressure bursts pipes. You could clearly see. Now you got to be a Matchroom fanboy to clearly not see that Eddie Hearn is under so much pressure that the zone is failing to deliver. And in all fairness, yeah, when you say game change, nothing has changed. Like nothing has changed. That's just being real. What fights are like what when you say game change, where's the game change? So yeah. Then we go from there, like with the zone is it's just not looking good. And the baddest thing with me as a boxing fan, I've always said that I want to see. Look, I just want to see the best fights. The best fights. That's it. I don't care whether it's BT, whether it's Sky Sports, whether it's PBC, whether it's Top Rank, whether it's the Zone. I don't care. Like, what's the man? Just give me the big fights. That's it. And yeah, like the Zone. Let's be real. They failed to deliver. Yeah. Now, obviously, the YouTube boxing thing, you can't really put that on Eddie Hearn, but yeah, like the the Zone's blueprint is just completely mad. You know, pay per view is dead. Uh, yeah, it's a whole madness what's going on over there. Anyway, then we get to I think which literally is the biggest blow for Eddie Hearn is the whole Conor Ben and Eubank fight. Now, well, the Eubank fight obviously pulled out because obviously Conor Ben has it's been confirmed that he's failed 2 drug tests. Now, where do we go from there? With Conor Ben, Matchroom, the Zone have put so much money behind Conor Ben. Like you could clearly see that. You know, after Joshua, Conor Ben was gonna be the face, like the face of Matchroom. Like you could see that how they're pushing Conor Ben. All right. So anyway, so Conor Ben is supposed to have failed the first drug test back in I don't know. I want to say July times or whatever before the Eubank fight was actually signed. Yeah, which they swept under the carpet just due to the fact that Eubank's team stated that they were unaware of the first. When I say the first drug test, I'm talking about Conor Ben's first drug test that he failed, not the one that went out in public. Anyway, boom. Whenever it was in August or September, don't quote me on dates because I'm not like, but you know, obviously him failing the second drug test, yeah. Then they're trying to play the whole legal thing where the fight can't be cancelled because Conor Ben has not been suspended or there's not been a hearing and all this kind of stuff. There, just playing the whole political, nonsense. Now, the thing with Eddie Hearn is, look, you can clearly see Eubanks Jr. I do not. One thing I can tell you, like I said, I'm not a guy who knows the contracts, what they've signed for, what they're obliged to do or nothing. I don't know nothing on that. But what I do know is Eddie Hearn has stated that. No, what was it? Callis Allen? No, Callis Allen stated that he could not personally cancel the fight. It's down to the fighters that say that the fight's off for whatever reason. Yeah. Anyway, Conor Ben has failed the drug test. The boxing boards waiting, didn't come with a decision. They come with a decision to say it's to prohibit the fight, but they're not suspending Conor Ben due to Conor Ben not failing UCAS tests, but they're failing VADA testing. It's all political, but if you know what I'm talking about anyway. Yeah. Now, by the way Eddie Hearn was going on, this fight's going ahead, blah 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 blah. Even if I have to go out, to look at other avenues or go for other avenues. Then he's talking about VADA before, when it came to Billy Joe failing the nasal spray situation. He had a whole different view then he did now. Now, in all defense, Eddie Hearn, which he's doing, he's just playing the whole game of, that's VADA, UCAD, blah, 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 blah. Conor Ben didn't fail the UCAD testing, so as far as he's concerned, the fight still goes ahead. Yeah? Morally, like I said, you as a promoter, you know that this guy has failed two failed tests he's now done. You should call this fight off. Even by then, before it actually got leaked, you should have come up with like an injury or something, because you don't want that stigma on Conor Ben. But it just does not look good. And then when it comes to you going out there saying about the fight has been cancelled, won't be answering any questions at this time. Cool. The man who says, the man of the people, the man who goes out and says that you can ask me anything, any questions. That's it. Put a camera and I'll talk. Yeah. Your stance has really changed since then. Really changed. then you're going out there talking about okay, yeah, you talk about Frank Warren and all this kind of stuff there, mate. It just doesn't. It does not look good for you. It does not look good for you. What else? Then when you go out there, you then have an interview. Now you had an interview with Kugan Cassius. Now, obviously, all respect to Kugan Cassius. Obviously, I've met him before. Also, people say he's ignorant and all that kind of stuff. There, I did not have that impression of him when I met him. I met him, yeah, quite a couple of years back. Seems like a cool brother. So yeah, I got nothing bad to say about him. But if I've got to be 100 on this pod, the interview that he gave to Eddie Hearn was a weak interview. Like, yeah, there wasn't, yeah, he didn't really fire the questions, and I do get it as maybe, like I said, as a friendship perspective, you ain't gonna really go in. You're not gonna really get grilled like the way maybe like a Rob Tebbit or Umar, for an example, where they'd be like, "Yo, these questions X, Y, Z." Now, yeah. So that all being said, what else can I say about that? Yeah, it's just been a bad year, and then to end the biggest, no, not the biggest, but another L. I'm like, it's like Eddie Hearn has just literally just forgot about the heavyweight division, like to allow Frank Warren to sign Moses Atuma, this guy who's literally gonna be a real, like, obviously he's a prodigy. Now, from what I've seen of him, and yeah, from what I'm seeing of him, he is gonna be a problem. Yeah, go check him out. But to not sign him, not put the pressure on, like the heavyweight division. Like, what are you saying? What are you saying, Eddie Hearn? Like, what is Eddie Hearn really saying? Yes, you got Canelo. Now, Canelo, the big star in boxing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, 110%. There's no argument there. Yeah, there's no, like, I'm not a hater of no man, and I'm not a fan of no man. I'm a fan of boxing. Yeah, but you know these guys are on the yeah, I don't know. It's like your time in the sun's over. You know, the honeymoon period is over. You made a mistake by for leaving Sky Sports and thinking that you were the man, and not Sky Sports, not the Sky Sports machine or Sky machine or whatever they call it. But yeah, it's just not looking good for Eddie Hearn. Terrible year. Terrible. I think the worst year he's ever had in boxing by far. Nothing but I hope he has a better year in 23 as we're in right now. And yeah, we'll just see where that goes. But anyway, that's my thoughts on who's had the terrible year in boxing. By far, is Eddie Hearn. If we're talking boxers, then we're gonna have to go with Conor Benn. But that's a whole nother subject. But yeah. Anyway, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Alright, and I'm out.